Hello and welcome to your sixth tutorial. Today we're going to be talking about if and else statements, and these are pretty easy and straightforward, and you'll come to like them a lot very soon. So let's get started. To start, let's create something called a Boolean. A Boolean, as many will know, and even if you don't, that's okay, is pretty much true or false. It only has two, which are true and false, and you can use them to kind of figure out little problems. Like if you made a character, you could do Boolean is holding apple, and you could test whether the character was holding an apple or not, and that's just one example. So let's make a Boolean by typing Boolean, and then we'll name this one example, and we'll set it equal to false. Now what we did is we created a Boolean, and we named this Boolean example, and we set the Boolean example to be equal to false. We could also set it to true, but for this example we're not going to, at least right now. And then we're going to create an if statement. Now an if statement pretty much means if this is true, or if this is not true, or if this is greater than this is less than this, and so on, then do the next thing. So I'll make a quick example for you. If example equals false, then do this. Now the reason I put equals is because it's a comparison operator. Here we are declaring the variable, so we only use one equals sign. Here we are comparing a variable to see if it is true, and that's why we do equals. And here we are going to type do this, or we can type system out print line, and we can write this is false. Now that brings me to the else statement. The else statement pretty much means if this is not true, or if this if statement did not correctly go through, then try this. So let's write else bracket and fill that in. And so this for this example, it's pretty much saying if example is not false, then do this. So we can write system out println. We can write this is true, since that's all we can do with this program we have right now. Since this Boolean is only true and false, and if it's not false, that must mean it's true. So right now, if we run this program and save it, we see that the console brings up this is false, because we told the variable example that it is set to false, and of course the if statement checked if that was true, and it went through and it wrote this is false. Now if we changed this to true and we ran the program and saved it, it'll come up as this is true, because the if statement was not correct. Example was not equal to false, so it skipped this part and went right to else and wrote this. Now I'm going to show you a little bit more about comparison operators. Now these are comparison operators. There are many different ones. There is exclamation point equals, there's less than equals, there's less than, there's greater than equals, there's and, there's or, and I'll explain each one of these. Exclamation equals means if this is not equal to false. So this would pretty much be if example is not equal to false, also means if this example is true, then do this. And then there's less than equals, and the reason this won't work is because this is a Boolean, not an integer. But if example was an integer, then we could do if example is greater than or equals to 1, 2, 3, any number, then we could use the integer comparison. And the same goes for this one, if it's greater than equal to, and then there's just greater than, and that would be less than, and then there's greater than. Now, here's the other ones. And would not necessarily work in this statement, and I'll explain why right now. The only ones I just showed you will work. So before I explain that, let's set this to equals equals again. Now I'm going to make another Boolean called example2, and I will set this to false. Now we can use the and operator right after this. So before I explain, let's type and example2 equals equals false. So and pretty much means if this example equals this and this example equals this, then run this code. But if one of these is not true, or the other isn't true, or both of them aren't true, then do not run this code. And you can use as many and statements as you'd like. And now here's where the or statement comes in, which is line. The or statement is just how it sounds. It means if this example is true, or this example is true, then go along with this code. So that's how you would use the or statement. But as of now, we don't need to use any of that. So we can just delete this. Well, actually, let's run this first before we delete it. If you look here, it actually still said this is false because both of these were right, and the or statement only needs one of them, but if it has two of them, it'll still go through. And same goes with the and statement. If we run this, it'll also say this is false. So let's delete this, and we can delete this Boolean, and now we are back to the basics. And that's pretty much how you use Booleans in Java. It's a pretty simple system, and you'll come to like it very quickly. So that's all for today. Thank you for watching.